What's up, guys? Boy, this is my third time attempting to record this. Mainly because I had one plan for a discussion video, and I decided to hold off on it because my thoughts were incomplete. I thought I knew enough about what I was talking about. Not that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I thought my thoughts were complete, and then I was able to, you know, recite them to you. But, I mean, not that I didn't know what I was talking about at all, but I just need some more time to think about it. So my thoughts and my concepts will be complete, and I can properly execute them to you. So, today I'm going to be discussing, I want to say, like, because it's hard to explain, because I want to say the past, but it's not just the past. It's like, you know, your past, my past, the past as a whole, your past self, just kind of, I don't know what that means. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection lately, and I've been watching a lot of my old videos, and I've been remembering how I used to be. Not that I've changed a whole lot. Oh god, this plant is in my face. I've been watching my development, and I've come a long way. Before I started YouTube, I mean, I wasn't super different, but I definitely wasn't super outgoing to a camera. Like, think back way like last year to my first Crash Bandicoot episode, if there are people who have been here this long. And if not, go watch it after this. You'll know what I'm talking about. Crash Bandicoot 1, Part 1, titled Awkward Introductions. So bad. But I appreciate that. I appreciate my older self, or younger self. It's a year younger. And, it was funny. It was hilarious. I've been watching my entire Crash Bandicoot series over again. In, you know, sessions, because I can only take so much of my stale commentary sometimes. I remember sitting there thinking, I'm so freaking nervous. And I almost didn't record that video, because I was so scared, and I was so worried about making a moron out of myself that I almost didn't record that, and God am I glad I did, because here we are now. But thing is, my main point about this discussion, I'd say, is that you are made up of your past, and that might be tough for some people, because, you know, some people aren't as fortunate as others, and people have tough pasts. People have tough lives. People have stuff they wish didn't happen. People have stuff they wish they didn't do, or they haven't done. Just forgot how to speak English there for a second. And that can be a positive and a negative. Positive because you learn from it. Negative because it happened to begin with. But some stuff needs to happen, because that's how you learn. You know? Let's see. A few years ago, when my parents first split, and my dad was still a little shaken up by it. He was, I wouldn't say I mean, maybe he was depressed, I don't know. He's very on emotion, but he was definitely not okay. I'm not saying he like abused me or anything, but we were getting into arguments every single time I was here. And I'm not bashing on him, don't get me wrong, I love him to pieces, but it was something, especially because of me, how defensive I was to everything. You couldn't even, like, I could not take any type of constructive criticism. Anything was a personal attack. I needed to defend myself because I thought I was being attacked on a personal level. And it would always result in an argument. And I hated it. I hated it. it's probably one of the most difficult periods of my life, of my 16 years of living. Not that that's very long, but it's my 16 years when I was about 14, 15. It was very tough. Getting through weeks, it was tearing me apart, and I hated it. It was very emotional. There were a lot of arguments, there was a lot of yelling, and I don't like that had to be that way, but I realized it needed to happen. You know, even with my parents splitting up, it had to happen. I'm under the firm belief, you know, this is just my opinion, you don't have to believe it, but I'm under the firm belief that everything happens for a reason. And I think it needed to happen, because I couldn't even imagine all of us still living here, because this is the house I grew up in. You know, it was my mom, my dad, my sisters, and me. But my sisters, I think they were in college. They graduated already, but I'm not sure. But it tore me apart. But knowing what I know now, if I had to tell myself, my younger self, I would tell them it's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna turn out fine. Because yeah, it happened, but look at me now. Not that that's so much. I mean, I'd say I've progressed a lot since then. I've become definitely a more mature and just a better person since that point. Even though, you know, it was a very tough time. Lots of tears were shed, lots of yelling, and just not fun. But I've learned from that experience. I used to take fault that happened on myself, because I used to think that I could have prevented it. I could have at least helped. And I used to, I'd spend a lot of time crying, and just, it sucked, because I really thought I could have fixed it, or at least helped. I mean, obviously I couldn't. It wasn't my problem to handle. It was my parents' problem. And many tears were shed, and I got them. I moved on. Is it unfortunate it happened? Yeah. But I'm not saying I'm happy that my parents split up, but I'm saying that I'm okay. You know? Because that's a part of who I am today. I've learned how to not be defensive. That is a big thing. Big thing. I'm so happy I'm not as defensive as I used to be, because I'd be driving everybody crazy. But it taught me that not everything's a personal attack, and just relax. I don't know why I was like that, but you know, some people have rough pasts, and you know, I don't want to be all cliche by saying what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I mean, to an extent, that is kind of true. You know, if you remember, I played a game. It was a horror game a few months back called Forgotten. And there's a part in the beginning where it tells you every person is a product of their past, and that is the most right-on thing. Like, it's very true. Because you wouldn't be who you are without the stuff that's happened to you. You learn from your experiences. But it is a very, very, very important lesson to know that you should not dwell on your past. I cannot stress that enough. Because when you dwell on something, you just get stuck there. And you will not grow. You will not progress. You will not let it go. And I know that is very hard for some people. Stuff has happened. I understand. But eventually, you have to let it go. Let it go! No. Just let it go. Because sure, person A did thing B to you and you responded in C reaction. And it sucked. But if you hold on to that the rest of your life, if you hold that grudge, you're not gonna grow. You can't hold on to it. Let it go. It's an experience. An experience is not meant to be held on. I mean, a bad experience is not supposed to be held on. Good experiences, you hold that, you cherish that memory, right? But bad experiences, you want to let them go. You don't want to let them plant a seed in you and let that seed of unhappiness rip you apart. You don't want that to happen. So, you want to let those things go. And it takes time. It's not easy. It is not easy. Sometimes some situations are easier than others, but geez, do I tell you, it's not easy. It's a process. And you need to let that process happen. And eventually, in due time, you will grow. Because, like I said, I mean, I was looking back, I've been watching a lot of my old videos lately. Not that I'm so big and I was so small, but just from 2014, December 20th, to 2016, July 18th. I've changed. Not a whole lot, but aspects of me have definitely changed. And I'm happy. You know, I've had unfortunate things happen in my life. I've lost people. And it sucked. It really did. I mean, this isn't about sympathy. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just trying to share my experience. Like I said in my last discussion, my uncle just died. That sucked. No, I didn't really get to know him as well as I'd like to. I hadn't seen him past that point in about a year. And then my dad sent me a text while I was recording something with Rashad that he died. And it didn't hit me at first, but it was just like, whoa. Because he had always been there. You know, I loved him. But he had always been there. And now that he wasn't there, it was just like, he's not here. You know, and I went to the funeral and I cried. I cried a lot because I just saw stuff about in my past how my family was a lot closer and they were a lot happier the way things used to be. And it made me cry a lot. And it makes me emotional now. I almost want to tear up because, you know, they had the slideshow, I saw all these pictures, everybody was happy, everybody was smiling, everybody was okay with each other, and now everybody's upset. And it sucks. It does. But things will get better. And I know that. And I'll grow even more. But, you know, like I said, it's not a sad video, it's a happy video. I'm moving on, and it's gonna be alright. I'm gonna grow some more. I'm gonna go grow, alright? You go grow too. Learn from your past. As always, peace out, y'all.